Hey, what's up? Lopez here for Portal Frame and that Productions, and welcome to this new and exciting tutorial about Cinema 4D. So this is our first tutorial about Cinema 4D. We are going to cover about the interface, the basic forms, also 2D splines and 2D shapes like this. Also, we are going to cover some basic animation. Also, we are going to make some basic models, and also we are going to use some tools. I am also going to show you how to make basic materials. Also, I'm going to show you how to make simulations, and finally how to make renders. So here I have what is a flashlight. So here we can see it, and I'm going to start explaining a little bit about the interface. Here we have the basic things that you are going to have in a basic 3D software like this. Here we have some tools, some shortcuts of the tools. This is for return. Also, you can use Ctrl+C, or in Mac I think it is Apple C. Here we have the move tool, so you can move it in the 3 axes: the X, the Y, and the C. No, the X, the C, and I think the Y axis. You can also scale it in the 3 axes, or you can just scale it in 1 axis. Here we have the rotation. You can rotate it 360 degrees. Here we have the shortcuts for the last tools that we use. Here we have to select just some of the axes. So here we can deselect and just have the C axis. Let's see. Also, we have here a shortcut for make a quick render. We have the basic options of the renders, and also how to render a frame. Here we have what it is, the basics forms that we have. We have the cube, the sphere, cone, cylinder, pyramid, the disc, the plane, basic polygon, a capsule, and all those things. We are going to also see how you can make a fractal noise in 3D. Here we have the basic splines, like this type of splines. We have rectangles, circles, strays, and text. We can, here we have the deforms like hyperloops and all those type of objects that you can use to modify an object. Here we have the arrays. We can make a matrix, booleans, a spline mask, some symmetry, the mutable instance, and also some connectors. Here we have some basics tools like make explosions, move the camera, break it up into pieces. Here we have the scenes like the light, the ground, some cameras, and also the scenario. Here we have for making particles, 3D particles. So here we have the shortcuts for selecting different type of geometry. In this, it is to make a full geometry of the full body. Here we can also select this to select just polygons. Also, we have to select just splines. Also, here we have to select the points. You can move anything around. And here we have to move the anchor point. So here we can go into different views. Here in this little button from right here. Let's wait for it loads. So here I can move the anchor point to the place that I want, and then I just need to select the object move, and then I can move it around. Let's go again to the perspective. With this tool, you click and you maintain the click to can move the scene. Also to drag and out, zoom and out the perspective. But the thing about this is that you have to care about, if you take too much zoom about in this perspective, you're going to make some distortions, and this is for rotate the scene. This is for UVW mapping. And let's see, here we have the objects for you to have different objects. You can put this right here, activate it, hide it with these buttons. So let's get it out of here and delete this. And here we have the material slot, and also we have the, here in the attributes, we have the attributes of the object. So we are going to start explaining some basic forms. So we are going to delete this. And if you just click here, it's going to make you a little bit cube. Here in the basic attribute, you can change the size and the segments. We are going to delete it. Also, we have the sphere, so it is a basic sphere of a 3D program. You can add it more or less segments. You can change it to different types of sphere. You can also make a half of a sphere. You can also delete it. And let's see, here we have all the basics. Now I am going to show you how to make a basic fractal noise. So here we have it. It is very basic. You can use it to make landscapes and things like that, and we can change the attributes like the size, the depth of the fractal. Here you can change the scale, the size, the sea level, and the orientation. Now, basic splines. The basic splines are, well, if you want to make a basic spline, you must go into some of the views like the right, left, front, and top. So we are going to go into the top, and we are going to make a basic spline. So we are going to start making splines. Let's see. I'm going to delete it. You can also make some rectangles. It's going to automatically do it. You can change the size also. Let's see, and all these type of things. Now if you go here into the basic shapes or the basic 3D forms, I'm going to make a cube, and I'm going to use a hyperloop. So I'm going to take it in, and if you see, what the hyperloop does is take the geometry and make instant geometry inside of the 3D program. So here, for example, I can shut it off for a second, make it editable. So this is what going to allow you to do is to work the objects in polygons and not from instance geometry of the 3D model. So I'm going to make it editable, and I'm going to go into the splines, and I'm going to press K to use the sectionary of the knife tool, and I can change it to mode to line to cycle, and I can start making some cuts to make more some more polygons. And I'm just going to make some polygons right here. And now if I check the game, what it's going to do is make the geometry in the spline, in the sections that doesn't have polygons. For example, here, if I do another cut right here very precisely, you're going to see when I also check the hyperloop, it's going to make here less soften, and here more softer. So that's what you can use this basic hyperloop. Also some arrays like a matrix, so you can make again a cube and put it here inside of the matrix, and you can change the copies, extend it, change the amplitude to make it a little bit random. We can also go into the mode graph, and here go into the cloner, and we can also make another. I am going to change the size just a little bit, and here I am going to change the Y, and the C axis, and I'm going to put it inside. And what you're going to see is that the cloner make an exact copy of the same object. So here I can put more. And the thing about the cloner is that, for example, if I rotate this and I check it again, the thing is that the cloner is going to automatically put it right. So we can put let's see here, we can go into what it is, I don't know what it is, but the thing is that it's going to allow the object to be in the same position as you put it. So here we can change to radian, also here into a little bit plane. We're going to delete. We are going to talk about this later. Here we have the lights. We can also put a little bit the ground. I can put the light up, and I'm going to make another cube. I'm going to scale it down. I'm going to put it up, and I'm going to put the shadows to map shadows. And now if I render this, what you're going to see is that the program make a shadow in the position of the light and the position of the object. The particles, we are going to see it in our next tutorial. I'm going to delete this. So now we are going to go into a little bit of basic animation. For example, I am going to take a sphere, and here into the line time that we have right here, we are going to check this little red button that we have here, and we are going to put a keyframe. What is a keyframe? A keyframe, it is a data pin in exact time that gives the program a base form to put the objects. For example, I can move it right here. I can go in some more frames, put another keyframe, more frames, and put another keyframe. And this keyframe, I'm going to put it up, and this I'm going to move it here. And now what the animation is going to do, here we select to play it. It's going to make this basic animation. It's going to loop it. For stop, we can press escape. Also you can animate the rotation. So we are going to, well, here is not going to see, but let's see, I'm going to make it editable, and I'm going to change the scale. So I'm going to select this and not this, and also it's going to affect in the scale. So you will see it's not affecting, but that is because we get out of the frame, but you can fix it. So here we are going to rotate it, and let's see, right now it is rotating. Let's see, we're going to bounce, put it in this frame, rotate it, play it again, and you will see the whole animation. That's the basic of you can animate an object. Now we are going to go into make some basic models, and also some basic models, and also we are going to use the tools. So if you see, I use here and some models in this flashlight, and yeah, okay. We are going to take a basic form of this flashlight. So I am going to make a cylinder, and I'm going to change the orientation to be let's see, in the C right here. I'm going to put a little bit some more segments here. Just we're going to don't put segments in the height, and also in the radius I'm going to do it a little bit big. So here I'm going to make it editable. I'm going to the right view and the left view, sorry, get into the splice press K to make a cut, and we are going to select a cycle or a loop in English. So here we are going to press to make the cut, and we are going to make also another cut right here. I'm going to go out of here. No, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to go into the polygon selection, and here into the auto selection I'm going to uncheck selection only visible objects elements, shut it off here, and I'm going to select all these. Okay, I'm going to scale it up. Okay, here I'm going to go again in the Splines selection and select UL to make a loop selection, and I'm going to select both and go here into the tools, right click to do it, and here I'm going to select bevel, and I'm going to make a click and start dragging it to make the cut to the bevel. But the thing is, here it is in online, so we are going to change it to convex and the subdivision of 3. I'm going to go into the perspective again, and I'm going to soften it. Now what I'm going to do is make the inside. If you see here, you are going to see this problem, and the thing that this problem is that Cinema 4D doesn't work like any 3D program. You have to go into the functions, and here there is a function called optimize, and it's going to optimize all the polygons and the points. And okay, so here we are going to try to fix this error polygon. Right click, and here is something called close polygon holes, and we are going to we are going to delete this first, and I'm going to check this, delete it, and now I'm going to close it. Right click, close polygons holes, and now it is closed. Again, I'm going to select it, going to inner extrusion, and I'm going to extrude it inner, and now extrude it here, extrude inner, extrude a little bit again. I'm going to scale it down right here and extrude inner right here. I'm going to extrude it like this again, and inner extrusion again, and extrude it down. Why this? Because here is going to be the bulb of the line. So now I am going to adjust just a little bit the whole body. Again, K. If you want to use K, you have to notice that it's not going to work if you have some spline selected. So I'm going to show you. And here, if I make clicks, you're going to see that it's not working. And the thing is that it is because it is selected. So now K again, 1 and 2. UL to loop selection. Let's see right here, and I can scale it down. Okay. Now here, I'm going to make another cut. UL to loop selection, and the loop selection is also available in the polygon selection. So here we have it. And the thing is that, for example, if you want to, let's say if you don't want to, for example, if you want to delete the whole body and leave just this part of right here, the thing is that you will have to start picking all the polygons. But what you can do is, for example, I am going to show you the selection tools. Press UL again for loop selection. Let's see. Let's zoom it. Okay. Now we can go into U, and here is going to give you all the keys, and we are going to use Y to expand the selection. for example. And so right here I select the part that I want to maintain. But if I want to select all the body, I just want to go into objects, no, into selection, and here we have invert selection. We select and we can delete the whole body. So that is very useful. So here is our basic model. I am going to make the glass that is going to cover it. So I am going to make a little disc. I'm going to change the orientation to Y plus. I don't know, it's not working. See, okay. I'm going to go into another view, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to change the size. So here I am going to scale it down. Okay. And let's see. So now that I made the glass, we are going to see a little bit of materials. So here we have two basic materials. I'm going to delete it. Okay. And to make a new material, you have to make a double click, and it's going to make a new material. I'm going to apply it into the cylinder. That's okay. And I'm going to change the settings. First, into the color. The thing here in Cinema 4D is it doesn't work like a basic 3D program, because in a basic 3D programs, if you're going to material, you're going to into the diffuse, you're going to put the texture, but in Cinema 4D you have to put it into the color. So we are going to load a texture, and let's see, we are going to search some texture here to be the copilot from Element 3D. We're going to go into materials, and I don't know, I'm just going to select basic image. Now you're going to apply it, and if you see, when I put the texture, it automatically put it into the scene. Now I'm going to make the glass. I'm going to put it into the disc, and first I'm going to put transparency, and here you have to change the brightness to make it full transparent, or a little bit. In this case I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to do it blue. We are going to go right here, we're going to select light blue. Okay, and let's see if we can put here for, let's see what it is. Here we're going to check it, and now we have a little bit glow around here. We can render to see this, and now you see you have a little bit of glow going out of the glass. Now I am going to talk a little bit about simulations. I'm going to delete this. And basically, a simulation, it is that the programs simulates all the physics that you will have in the real life, like gravity, the bumpiness, and also the friction of the object. So I'm going to make I'm going to go into MoGraph, and here into a little let's see, a cloner, and I am going to put a box. I'm going to make it editable and adjust the size here, right here, put it inside of the cloner, and I'm going to change the cloner from linear to grid. And here we have a basic grid. I'm going to put a little bit more of. I'm going to extend it. Put more. So now, in a physics, in any 3D programs, you have to have two elements: the collider and the object that is going to collide. So I'm going to move the cloner up in the here into the left view. I'm going to put it up, and here in Cinema 4D it's very easy to make simulation. So I'm going to uncheck this, select the cube, going to simulation, and here into dynamics I'm going to say like make rigid body, and now it's applied. And now I have to make the collider, so I'm going to make a ground. And the difference about this ground and to make a grid is that the ground it is infinite, and in a grid is it has end. So I'm going to check it here, and I'm going to apply quickly the collider. And now if I run into the in the line of time, you're going to see the animation. So here, and finally quickly I'm going to show you how to make basic renders. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put in the star. Okay, I'm going to make a basic light. I'm going to put it up, and I'm going to put that has shadows, and I'm going to go into here. No, stop it here, and here into save you're going to select the root that you're going to select, and also the name, render, save, and I'm going to make it GPG and 8 bits per channel. And here into output you're going to put the size. In this case I'm going to do it 640 by 360, I think. Yeah, it's okay. And here it's okay. You're going to close it, and to render it you just have to do double click inside this little dot over here. Now it's going to make the render. And let's see, I'm going to search it here, and here it is. That's why. And here we have the basic render. So thanks to watch the video. If you want to see more tutorial of this type, I am going to be doing it. I'm also going to show you how to make basic apps for different devices, also some basic HTML, also some 3ds Max tutorials, jQuery, and all that type of things. So thanks for watching, and we are going to see next time.